Hello everyone, welcome back to Breaklight Productions. My name is Curtis Lambert and today we're reacting to Grandson Autonomous Delivery Robot. Let's jump on into it. Ooh! Very cool, loving the POV shots of the robot. Like, that's an ultra-wide lens, probably, 8mm or something. Ooh, nice flares on that shot. Yeah, really cool. The fact that they've added like the camera shape to it as well so that it feels like it's actually the driving robot. Awesome. Oh god, drool everywhere. That's cool, having the robot drive past the band. Oh shit. They're killing his friends. Love it. Using the zoom in. Yeah, everything's in red now. Hell yeah. Oh! Hell yeah. Hey, that's a cool effect. This would have been so much fun to film. Ooh, hell yeah. Realistic looking blood, which is cool to see. Nice. Oh, it's not over. Awesome. That's great. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, that was cool. That was an awesome narrative music video. Like, pretty much fully narrative. Like, obviously we had the shot of the band in there, but other than that, like, that was pretty much it. Lighting wise, it's mostly just using like natural light. So like, for example, in the band shot, you can see that the sky is really overblown. But I think that adds to the like the overall vibe of it and stuff. Because it's got that real, I don't like, it's one of those things where sometimes you don't want things to be balanced, like, and it depends on the type of content you're filming. If you're filming a commercial that's meant to look beautiful, then yeah, you need a nice balanced even sky and a nice balanced even like mid-tones and low tones. But like, if you're doing a gritty music video like this, you don't need that. You can have it be whatever you want. And with this particular color grade, like, they've really like added the sort of the contrast, like the black clothing the band is wearing is like really black, and I know when people hear me say that, they can be like, well, isn't that what it's supposed to be. But this is the thing with color grading, is that like if I shot that in RAW on my camera, that black clothing would be just more of like a dark gray. And when you get into the color grading, you can make it whatever you want. Just like you could very easily put a filter over the top that makes everything sepia. You can do that for any color, any, you know, selection of colors. So, you know, you could make those shadows and black clothing have sort of like a slight tint of green, a slight tint of blue, be sort of a lighter shade of black. But yeah, they've really like compressed it, which I do genuinely love. Because yeah, it gives it that grittier feel. It's hard for me to know if there's grain thrown on the top of this, but you know, it wouldn't. I actually, definitely from the robot perspective, there is grain on it. But outside of that, not too sure. I can't really tell, but regardless, like either way, the images look great. The editing, I love that they just, you know, they fly through the story because at the end of the day, this is a 2 minute 49 song. So they want to show the traveling, but they can't, you know, they can't have this remote control, you know, character having to like, you know, go through all these streets and that, so they just speed it up. And again, this is a music video, you can do that, you know. If you try doing that in a narrative, you know, it might feel weird, you might put people off because it breaks the immersion and blah blah blah. But here in music video world, fuck it, just hit fast forward. You know, like you can do whatever you want. You've also got for all of these POV shots, you've got, obviously it's a really wide angle lens, most likely completely fisheye, which is why you're getting that like distortion. Now, what type of camera or lens they used, I don't know. But for example, like if I was to shoot this, I would use my camera with, I've got a 7.5 millimeter lens, which is completely like fisheye. It sees a full 190 degrees, which, so it actually sees further than, you know, left to right. It actually sees a little bit further. Which is, yeah, it's really really cool to shoot with. And yeah, it gives you shots very similar to this. This could also, you know, just be like a GoPro, or some other wide angle action camera, because most of them have a wide angle option. So yeah, there's a lot of things it could be, but it's really nice. And like, I love the vignetting because again, it feels like you're viewing this through the eye of the robot. Like in any other situation, that might be annoying or look weird, but here it works because it is putting you in the character's perspective. But then we've also got some really nice flares through it as well, which again, absolutely love. Also, just the design of the robot it is so cute. And like, I know it sounds dumb, but it honestly can't go understated how much like effort and planning needs to go into even something like this, where the objective is just to make it cute or whatever, because if this design was slightly different, it may not be as like cute looking, and as such harder for us to sympathize with that character. You really, when you're designing puppets and or even like animated characters, you really have to put a lot of time into thinking like, how do I, especially if it's not human, what features can I add that'll make people like connect more with this character, even though it may not be a human. So a great example of this is like typically in animation they'll use highlights, which we've spoken about many times, because highlights are sort of like the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Highlights sort of indicate to our subconscious that something has a soul, has a life behind it. And so that's why if you watch a lot of old Disney films, your old Bambi, what else? Lion King, etc. You'll see that just like the human characters in, say, Snow White or whatever, they put real emphasis on getting the highlights just right. So yeah, super, super important. And yeah, a lot of effort has to go into like, how can we make this thing that people shouldn't be able to sympathize with, how do we make it so that you actually sympathize for it? Which, yeah, really, really cool. And I love the simplicity of just like when he sees his friend being killed, you know, the eyes go red, and the whole screen gets a red filter on it. That is so simple but so effective. um I will add a quick criticism, which is I think the like effects thrown on top of the robot's viewpoint could have just been like a little bit more engaging. Just a little bit, like, because it just feels like the same information keeps popping up, which again makes complete sense, but it's also like, yeah, it would have been cool to just see that little bit sort of extra go into it. As well as like the when it says kill all humans, it's sort of, it's clear that it's just like a font on top. It doesn't feel weathered and like in the circuitry as much as the rest does. But again, I want to make it clear these are very minor nitpicks. Like it still is an incredible music video and great, great fun. I also want to talk about, as we've done so before, the importance of understanding visual storytelling. Because here we have, right, a, pre-made music. So there's no like swells or whatever telling us what to think or what to feel. There's no dialogue. There's no sound effects. Um, and even more so than other ones, they've given us a character that's not even human, and so can't even like show us an emotion. However, all they have is they have, popping up in the character's view. They have, friend in danger and all of this. And then just the subtlety of just the slow zoom ins on the robot with an escalating edits of, all the crap he's had to deal with that day. Like, that is awesome. That is visual storytelling. If, like, when you're learning shots as a cinematographer, you learn, like, if you want the character to feel this way, do a zoom in. If you want the audience to feel this, do a zoom out. Like, that's the real shame with a lot of, like, modern day filmmaking, is that, like, they rely sometimes too much on the music and the dialogue to tell you what's happening, for a character, rather than, like, just showing us. And then, like, they'll do it, but they'll do it in such a, like, ambiguous way where you're like, what? Like, what's the character feeling? When just something as subtle as that, just a zooming in on this robot, makes you go, oh, yeah, he's about to snap, and then boom, the eyes go red and he starts killing everyone. Like, yeah, super, super cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I gotta talk about. Obviously, the fucking, I love my gore, so shout out to the death scenes at the end. They were awesome. But yeah, all in all, fucking great music video. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.